Sure. So I view IoT platforms as essentially a virtual OS for the Internet of Things. And that essentially allows developers, IoT application developers, to specialize and innovate in the areas that truly differentiate themselves in the market without having to worry about the so-called plumbing issues in standing up an IoT application. So this gives them much more latitude and leeway to invest time and funds in innovating with new technologies and new offerings. And I use the analogy of the iPhone with the App Store. So certainly pre-iPhone, there were obviously smartphones, and these smartphones had apps. But it was really when the iPhone and the App Store brought a model of allowing access to the iPhone as a platform by third parties that we saw the explosion of apps available, and we saw tremendous innovation in ways that Apple itself, I think, never imagined at the start.
Very true.
And we think that a similar dynamic can play out in the Internet of Things with the, again, virtual OS that comes about with these platforms. One quick point about platforms, additionally to mention, is the role they play in scaling up partnerships in the Internet of Things. So as a virtual OS, as it were, they allow many-to-many connections rather than one-to-one or one-to-one-to-one connections. So many device vendors can partner with a platform vendor, and it enables an ecosystem. Sure. So we see carriers leveraging their brand, their customer relationships, their scale in their pursuit of IoT applications. And what I mean by that is, for instance, in consumer markets, they're leveraging their brand and existing consumer relationships to extend to areas that are more IoT-centric. So, for example, adding digital home or digital health applications to their existing bundles, offering bundles. We can almost think of it as a quintuple play above and beyond mobile and the other traditional service offerings that they have. In a more B2B context, operators are leveraging their scale and, again, their customer relationships with enterprise and government customers to offer solutions in areas such as providing support for automakers' connected car programs and providing support for utilities in offering smart grid solutions. We see this as well with smart city solutions in terms of operators really helping their municipal customers to support those initiatives. Well, there are hundreds of IoT platform players, so certainly there will be consolidation. We think it's important to distinguish between different types of platforms when we think about consolidation, though. One type of platform we term a connection management platform, and in that segment we think that it's actually fairly stable. It may be even expanding a little bit in the sense that currently the connection platform market is essentially a duopoly, and we think that there's an opportunity for some other additional players to come in and be important players in that segment. A second segment of IoT platform is centered around device management. The term of art is device clouds. And this is a case where device vendors and equipment vendors are developing device management solutions essentially to help their customers to better manage and better incorporate their devices into applications, essentially to help facilitate the applications and thereby facilitate sales. We think that is also a fairly stable segment in the sense that it's likely that manufacturers will retain their own device clouds and offer their own device clouds. So not a tremendous amount of consolidation there. Where we do think that there's going to be quite a bit of consolidation is in the third segment, which are typically called application enablement platforms. And this is a varied polyglot of different types of companies, of different strategies in terms of exactly what is offered. But we do think that there will be a lot of consolidation in this segment, particularly in the sense of smaller companies, pure play platform providers being acquired by larger, more established ICT vendors, primarily from the standpoint of acquiring specific technical features and functionality. Sure. So in the telecom-centric IoT space, we view One M2M as the most important initiative. One M2M is essentially an umbrella initiative combining the efforts of a number of national and regional standard development organizations to both develop new IoT specific standards, as well as to bring in existing standards and unify all of this work into a common framework for developing and deploying an IoT application. One major challenge for One M2M is that it's seen as rather difficult for application developers to leverage currently. We think that the One M2M organization is making efforts to rectify this, and we would anticipate that One M2M will become much more developer friendly in the very near future. Sure. Well, fundamentally, carriers are in large part attempting to move up the value stack, if you will. So to encompass more of the application value in terms of what they offer directly. This poses challenges for them as they do this, however, because moving up the value stack entails developing new technical capabilities, developing new vertical market expertise. And so what many carriers have done in an effort to reduce their risks in standing up their own IoT solutions is to really work with partners, and in many cases a variety of partners, to help them fill the gaps, as it were, in terms of capabilities that they may not have in-house, but that are essential as they go to market with a more complete end-to-end IoT solution.